Hi there, I'm Dr. Stephen-Claude Hyatt. I'm Director and Managing Partner for Cognitive Assurance Life Management International. That's CALM International. Wellness begins with you. Now today I want us to talk a little bit about mental health, looking at the concept of mental wellness and mental illness. Now, many times persons think that if you're going to see a psychologist or a therapist or even a counselor, it's because you have a mental illness, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. And so I want to take time to clarify that for you today. Now, what is mental illness? If someone meets the diagnostic criteria for any mental health diagnosis, then that person is considered to be mentally ill or mentally unwell. So there are different categories of mental illnesses. So someone could have a mood disorder, for example, major depressive disorder, dysthymia, or bipolar 2 disorder. Or they could have an anxiety-based disorder, like generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, agoraphobia. They could have a psychotic illness, for example, schizophreniform disorder, schizophrenia, or bipolar 1 disorder. Or they could have a personality disorder, like borderline personality disorder, or one that you probably are familiar with is narcissistic personality disorder. Now, if someone meets the criteria for any of those categories of illnesses, then we say they have a mental illness and we consider them patients. Now, mental wellness, on the other hand, speaks to the quality of life that persons have in various areas of their lives, and they're able to handle well difficulties in those areas. So someone who's mentally well carves out quality time for the self, making sure that they have time for themselves, to be alone, to enjoy activities that they like. For example, that they are doing water sports, they're going to the gym, they're doing yoga or Pilates, or a number of other things. But it also speaks to the quality of sleep that you have, the diet that you have, not dieting, but the fact that you have a healthy diet. That speaks also to body or self, which is one aspect of mental wellness. Another aspect is contact or interpersonal relationships, ensuring that we carve out quality time to spend with the people who are important to us. So our family, our friends, close friends, etc. That also contributes to mental wellness and good mental wellness. Then there's fantasy, or the opportunity to escape reality, because fantasy is not only for children. That's a misconception. Fantasy is also for adults. There are times when we just need to be able to escape life a little bit and just live in a little fantasy world. And we do this by watching movies. So going to the cinema, that's a part of fantasy as well. And recently I saw Wakanda Forever. Loved it. Anyway, we're not talking about that at the moment. But going to the cinema is a part of fantasy, or watching movie on one of the streaming platforms, television series, reading a good book. All of these constitute fantasy or the ability to escape reality. And then there's achievement or accomplishment, that we have good feelings about our career development, our academic life, that we are able to carve out the type of reality that we want to have. And finally, mental wellness also speaks to our spiritual life. The spiritual relationships that we have, be it the vertical relationship with a transcendental being, or the horizontal relationships that we have with those around us. So persons who are mentally well, when we're talking about mental wellness, it means that these individuals are experiencing good quality of life in these different areas. And they're better able to deal with adversities when they arise. And we call these individuals clients. Now, what is mental health? We all have mental health, be it good mental health or bad mental health. Now, mental health refers to a number of things. This includes quality of life that the individual has, the quality of the relationships that they have. stability of their financial life, social support and network. Mental health also speaks to the ability to effectively manage stress or stressors, among other things. And so, usually, if someone has good mental wellness, so the capacity to take care of things in the different areas of their lives and feeling good about them, then they tend to have good mental health. Now, what is good mental health? Good mental health is the presence of mental wellness and the absence of mental illness. And this is very important because someone could not have a mental illness, but they still don't have good mental wellness. Someone could be free of a mental health diagnosis, but this person's just not happy with their lives. They're not feeling content with their employment, with their relationships. So we would say this person does not have good mental health. Because the opposite of mental illness is not mental wellness. The opposite of mental illness is that you don't have mental illness. So we want to make sure that someone is having good mental wellness in the absence of mental illness, and we consider that to be good mental health. Now, I like to use the analogy of a cruise liner, just to make the point as to why it is that it's important to have good mental wellness. So, if you're going out to sea on an ocean liner, and usually ocean liners, they will have lifeboats, life jackets, they will have radio to be able to make contact, a satellite phone, etc., flare guns, just in case anything should happen, that they're able to save lives. Now, most cruise vessels, when they go out, they don't need these things because nothing happens. They go out, they come back, everything is fine. But sometimes things could happen. And I'm sure, even if nothing happens, you would feel better to go on an ocean liner that has the life vests, the lifeboats, and all these other things, as opposed to an ocean liner that does not. Because just in case something happens, you want to ensure that you're prepared. But this is what mental wellness is. Mental wellness is ensuring that you have the tools and the techniques that you need, so when you come across difficulties in life, which you will, and we all do, that you have the tools, the techniques, the capabilities to be able to handle these difficulties. And so someone who is mentally well, if they deal with loss through death or some other type of loss, or if they have to deal with a traumatic situation, if they lose their job, etc., these persons are better able to handle these life transitions, these life reversals, because they have good mental wellness. They have the tools to help them. So I hope this helps you to clarify what mental wellness is, as opposed to mental illness, and what is good mental health. So at CALM, we want to ensure that all persons are mentally well, they have good mental wellness, and that they're able to handle things that life throws at them. And so going to see a therapist or a psychologist or a counselor is not necessarily because someone has a mental illness. Sometimes it's because they just want to make sure that they have the tools to handle life. Very quickly before I go, once when I was working in Beijing, I had a particular person reach out to me because they wanted an appointment. And when they came to see me, as usual I said, how can I help? And he said to me, nothing is wrong. I just moved to Beijing, and having a therapist is one of the tools that I like to have just in case something happens. And I thought, yeah, that person has good mental wellness. Yeah? So we want to wish you all the best as we start this new journey. It's a new year coming up, to ensure that we have good mental wellness at all times. And so from us here at CALM International, we want to wish you all the very best. And as we say, wellness begins with you, which means you need to make the effort to make the change that is needed. And so wishing you all the best. And as we say in Jamaica, where I'm from, one love and walk good. Take care Bye-bye.